Okay, today we're talking about scales because obviously there are endless ways to practice scales and it's great fun, endlessly interesting. So I'm going to look at 3 different exercises. They're all shamelessly ripped off other people's ideas, so attributions first of all. So they're all kind of based on Beringer, the routine from the Beringer scale and arpeggio manual. I actually came across these working with the wonderful people at Open Studio, so shout out to Open Studio. And then the remainder of it is taken from the amazing Nick Weldon from Jazz School UK. So thanks Nick for all of this stuff, none of it's original. So yeah, let's see. The first most basic version is just the Beringer version. Here we go. So the basic Beringer exercise takes you through the 12 keys chromatically. I'm going to start in C because, not very imaginative, but why not? And it first of all does the major scale, then it does the harmonic minor, and then it does the Locrian scale, which of course is the same notes as the major scale of the semitone above, which is the scale that you then move to. So you do 3 scales in each key: major, harmonic minor, Locrian, and there's a little turnaround, then you go up a semitone and do the same exercise, semitone up. Right, here we go. Okay, the metronome on 120 there. Here we go. Okay, almost. Right, that's all well and good. That's a really nice warm-up. Got my hands moving. But playing in jazz, like, who wants to start a scale on the tonic? That's not a good place to start. The tonic is where you're going. It's not where you start off. So this was Nick's plan, is instead of starting on the tonic, you play the same scales, but you start on the 5th of each time when you approach the tonic from below. And you also play it in a way that you're emphasising the important chord tones. So you're emphasising the root, the 3rd and the 5th of the chord each time. We're also going to do something different in the right and left hands, but hand independence, with the left hand playing a bass line basically on the roots and 5ths of each of the scales as we go. Okay, so instead of starting on going to start on the 5th and count it in 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. So that way the strong chord tunes are landing on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then in the left hand we're going to put in roots and 5s. And then same again when we got the minor. Now the Locrian has a flat 5, so it's going to be. So instead of here, we could do flat the 5, but I think it sounds nicer, and Nick reckoned as well, using the flat 6. In fact, I find a nice way to think about that, rather than thinking about it as C Locrian. I think of it as, well, we're going to D flat, so in the left hand you've got the root and the 3rd of A flat 7, which is the dominant 7, going to D flat, and you are playing the scale starting from the flat 7 of the dominant 7. Then you're off again in your new key. So, okay, here we go, 120 on the metronome. Okay, and the final exercise, this is sort of a mashup. I'm taking it a little bit further on as well. Instead of going up chromatically, I wanted to work through the keys, going around the cycle of fourths. And also, instead of just playing randomly major minor Locrian, I thought, well, why not a chord progression, and obviously basic chord progression, let's do it over a 2-5-1. So it's the same idea, starting on the fifth, moving up to the root of each scale that you're using, but instead of going up chromatically, it's going around the cycle of fourths and doing 2-5-1 in each key as you go around. Right then, so I'm going to demonstrate this doing a 2-5-1 to C major. So we're starting off D minor to G dominant, going to C. Okay, so D minor, I'm going to start in the fifth. Now, the kind of boring version to do next would be going to the G dominant, do the same starting on the fifth. And then the C. So for me that's got two problems with it. Partly you've moved right up the keyboard, so that's not going to be great for an exercise because you want to kind of try and stay in the same place. The second is the repeated notes. Now you can solve this and also solve another problem, namely that I want to practice the altered scale. But instead of using just the plain old G Mixolydian, we're going to use a G altered scale. So when we start off with just normal D Dorian, now reducing the G altered, then the altered has got this flat 5. So we're not repeating the D again. D Dorian to the altered. And then we can jump down an octave and basically stay in the same place on the keyboard. There we go, 2-5-1. Okay, so we've got to go off doing a 2-5-1 to F, which is our next key, starting on the fifth of G minor. C altered. F major. So that's how the right hand is going to work, and that's going to just go around through those three scales through round the cycle. Easy peasy. Right, what about left hand as well? So got the right hand sorted. Left hand is going to do some rootless voicings, and these are going to be based on 6 chords. So for the 2 chords, so again we're doing a 2-5-1 to C here. We're going to take the voicing based on 6th chord, a minor third above. So this is our voicing for D minor 7, only instead of having the D there, I'm going to make it a D minor 9. Okay, so we've got it that way up, and we can also put it the other inversion by taking these 2 notes and putting them up here. Okay, so we've got 2 inversions. That's going to be our voicing for our 2 chords. For the altered chord, so here we've got G, which we want to use the G altered. Now, the G altered scale that's a mode of melodic minor of A flat. So we're going to use the 6th chord on the A flat, 6 minor. Okay, but again, we can choose exactly how to voice that. So rather than having it this way up, we'll put it like that, and then instead of having the A flat, we'll put the B flat in, which gives us a nice sharp 9 chord for our G dominant. So in that inversion, we can also have it in that inversion. And then the 1 chord, again, I'm going to base that on a 6th chord. This is the 6th on the 5th. So for C major 7, we're going to use the 6th chord on the 5th of C. voice that with the E at the bottom or on the top. So the whole thing, putting it together with both the hands, let's see. So that's quite low down, quite muddy voicings, that low down the keyboard, so we can do it, a different version a little bit further up. So in that case we've got okay, that's the plan. So take it through the keys, next step. Okay, I'm not going to do 120 for this one, that's way beyond me. 70 is a bit more realistic, so here we go. Okay. about made it. Of course, that's only half of the exercise. So that was the one starting with C major 7 voiced with the spaced out open inversion. There's also the exact same exercise, but start off with the closed voicing, which has the little cluster in the middle. So I'm going to go off and do that now. So I hope that was useful. I've found that really interesting, fun putting together that. I will be playing that with my metronome, hopefully creeping up from 70 over the next few days.